Hello and welcome back to Mr. Caro Plays FM24. Now today we're going to continue our series of who to be while you wait for FM25 to come out. Now I must admit myself, kind of finding it a little bit difficult to stick with a game long term. Obviously everyone expected FM25 to be out last month and it wasn't. So it's a bit difficult to keep those saves going, especially if you had kind of like a save where you had limited longevity. So it is difficult. I have skipped through a couple of saves, but then I stumbled across a league which works quite well, adds a little bit of challenge, or country, I should say, rather than the leagues, if you choose to go down the leagues. There are a few options available, and this league this country is Denmark. Now, in Denmark, you have, if you look down the top division, we're going to go through a couple of teams in each division, and lay out a couple of challenges. You've obviously got a couple, Copenhagen. You got, FC Copenhagen there with first place predicted. I'm going to butcher some of these names. FC Midtjylland, third place predicted finish. Brøndby, fifth place predicted finish. Randers, ninth place, and so forth. But you've got some kind of relatively big names in this division, reason why that's kind of interesting, and I've missed out some other names in there. AGF, I think pretty confident Jack Wilshere played for them for a couple of games at the very end of his career. But yeah, couple is kind of a division or a country that actually offers a lot of competition. You've got a very strong division, which is quite fun. I think some divisions, when you go to the kind of more lesser known countries, the non-top 5 leagues, what you can find is that it's very easy to progress because you get to those divisions, maybe start in the third division, second division, and then you progress up. And then when you're there in the first division, you're like, wow, now I've built this team. It's actually not that difficult to win the league. That is slightly different in Denmark. Denmark is kind of outside the threshold of those top 15 divisions. I think if we go to the competition, I think we can find it. Let's hope this is nice and easy to find. We look at the co-affiliation rankings in there. You can see if we go to leagues, this is where it's going to take leagues. Yeah, you can see that Denmark is, and we're trying to find them in here. Denmark is kind of, top 17 division around kind of Norway, Ukraine, Czech Republic, Switzerland, kind of around those divisions. And then you probably want to kind of aim to get towards Scotland and maybe towards kind of the sixth to the Dutch league. So that would be kind of where you'd want to progress as the seasons went on, trying to get that affiliation up there. But initially, when we're looking at these teams, we're looking at that. If you go to Copenhagen, and then we look in there, for example, and then we look in the players themselves, and we look at a team in there. You've got Thomas Delaney, Danish international. I think you've got in here somewhere, scrolling down, Sweden, you've got Jordan, not Cleeson in there, and this guy down here, Rooney, a bit of a wonder kid, I believe. In FM, I had him on a couple of seasons on the previous game. I haven't managed to get him on 2024. But yeah, 18. In real life, I think he was injured for most of the season, but in FM 24, certainly after the update, this is the updated database, by the way. I'll put the link in the description. You can see that he's not carrying an injury now, and he's got great potential to be a great player. So that is someone who you could definitely progress. Now, if we drop down a division and we go to the second division, or first division that's labeled, there actually are 3 divisions and then a kind of Premier League, if you like. But if we go down to Division 1, there are some decent names again in here. Esbjerg, FB predicted to come first. You can see that they have had quite the decline, if you like, but not that long ago, 2018, 2019, they were third in that division. If we go in deeper into there, you can see that they have won 5 league titles, a couple of cups, some divisions down there. We look at their squad. Pretty confident they had Rafael van der Vaart's son in here last year. Is he still here? This is when you search for things and you can't find him. He doesn't appear to be there. Maybe he's moved on. Either way, they've got some good players in here. If we go to their strikers, I know, for example, they have some good strikers around, or some good players at least. It's very hard when you scroll through it very quickly like this, but they have got quite a good team. I don't know this. This is obviously the updated version. On FM24, they have a very good team or some young players. I'm not sure how that relates in FM25, especially with the updates. It's a bit raw when we're looking at that. Then if we look in the league again and we look at those teams within that, you've also got OB here. Is it QB? That's OB. I don't know the names of these teams. They're quite hard to pronounce, some of them, but nevertheless, a team which I believe has got quite a good history. Yeah, a couple of first division, a couple of Premier League division, if you like, mostly second division stuff. Did get relegated down to the third division. Looks like maybe this was last season. And if we go to the second division in there, we have, this is a team that I have managed. Admittedly, I took them from the third division, but clearly they got promoted. They have not done anything in like the last 20 odd years, but they have won 9 divisions and so forth. And then they've kind of stumbled across the lower league. So it's a bit of team to build up. And if we look at their team specifically, got a couple of players, a couple of Canadians in there, which is fun. A couple of Danish players, very small squad, but that could be a contributing factor to the update. So yeah. And then if we look at the first division again and we go to the rule set, another interesting thing of this league is that it doesn't, the actual rule set is very nice. It does involve having to have a goalkeeper on the bench, which for me, I always like to risk it without a goalkeeper on the bench. The cool thing about this league is it breaks into 2 sections, champions section and relegation. This is reflective of the lower divisions as well. They do this. Which is a fun thing if you get in them. Obviously less fun if you don't, but it's kind of fun SPL, Scotland kind of style where placement in terms of that. Some decent prize money, which obviously will increase. Someone said in a previous comment to a previous video that I asked a question, does the prize money increase? And somebody said yes, so apparently it does. That is an interesting thing to look at. It also, which is kind of fun in this league, is you get participation money. When I played in the top division, maybe it was 2 or 3 seasons in, that participation money was like £1 million a go. So that's kind of interesting. That kind of helps. Because obviously finances perhaps are not the highest in the Danish league before you get into the kind of European competitions. But that participation money will help, and it comes 3 times a season. If we go to our registration rules, it's actually not too bad at all. You can, pretty much sign free transfers whenever you want. The only weird thing in Denmark, which I have found particularly weird and hard to navigate, especially at the start, I don't know if we're going to see any examples here, but there seems to be 2 kind of contract windows. One is in December and the other is in obviously a standard June time. I don't know if we're going to find anyone in that kind of scope. Probably not because of the update, to be honest, but nevertheless, there are players that come out of contract. Here you go. You see one up here, for example, in December. Now, that is interesting and slightly complicated to get used to because when you're offering contracts, typically when you play this game, they're going to be till the end of the season. However, because in Denmark, you can get kind of confused, especially with loan deals. This is particularly important if you're a lower league team and you're loaning players. Sometimes you get very excited when a player's like, oh, yeah, they're not asking for any wages. Make sure that you select to the end of the season. Unless, of course, you want to select until December. Because if you're selecting to December, chances of getting that loan move renewed is incredibly unlikely. I've struggled greatly to do this. Even with parent clubs, I've struggled to get that loan agreed past December, which obviously kind of kills your team, because if you've built your team around a couple of loan players, never the best idea, but certainly when we're trying to get through the leagues, sometimes there's a necessity to do that because of money, finances, etc. If you're getting those contracts expiring in December, that is very difficult to rebuild. Although another plus or negative, depending on how you look at it, with the Danish leagues is they have a big break. They finish in December and they don't go back until February. So you kind of have 3 months to kind of build your team, get over some injuries. It's an interesting period of time. I don't know if this can be exploited in terms of friendlies to make a little bit of money. I haven't personally done that myself, but it is interesting. It's something to keep in mind, especially if you are signing players around that January period. If you're signing them, you could end up wasting a little bit of money, free transfers, maybe get them on trial, monitor them, and then sign them up closer to that period of time. Obviously, you need space in your free registrations to make that happen, but it is a tip and maybe something interesting to do. Now, if we go back to our top division again and we look at our initial European placing, you can see that the Champions League second round qualifying, there's no direct qualification into the Champions League. Obviously, if you progress and do well, you can make that happen for this league, but initially there is no direct qualification. Second place gets you Europa League, third place gets you Conference, and the fourth place also gets you Conference, but second, I guess, various different level qualification routes through that. There is a cup in Denmark. It's not going to get you much money in terms of prize money, but I believe it comes with some European placing. Let's see. I don't actually know if it does, but we'll see. Yeah, it gets you into the Europa League. So it's worth emphasizing that, because if we go back to our top division again and we give it a quick look in there, you can see that, yes, although the top division does, is only second place gets you Europa League. Third place actually gets you Conference League. So if you want to win the cup, you can jumpstart your end of season and get into that Europa League minus finishing third in division. Now, obviously, you finish third in division, that gives you a bit of security. But it's good. And also, actually, I would imagine, I don't know for certain, it will give an opportunity for another team to get that place. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but in this case, I believe it probably will. And thus, that will help get another team into Europe. So worth considering. I know sometimes cup competitions aren't on people's forefront, but it is worth considering in the Danish league, because of at the second at least, the grouping of those European places don't necessarily benefit coming third in the division. You might as well go for the league, the cup, and see where you stand in that. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Hit the notification button for more videos. Thank you and goodbye.